You go through life as a hockey fan and you think you've seen it all, but in this case, it kind of proves it. Now, this guy was a gentlemanly player, a good hometown hero for numerous teams, but the odds of him making the NHL were quite long when he started his career. But eventually, with expansion, when the WHA and NHL merged in 79-80, he had a huge chance to be a regular player. And although he didn't put up great results, we still call him Lucky. Now, Lucky Pierre, better known as Pierre Hamel, has been a fan favorite in the media and amongst New Brunswick and Maritime hockey fans for decades. We're going to go over a little bit of his career and explain why. Now, born September 16, 1952 in Montreal, not the biggest goalie at 5'9", 170. First came to major prominence with a very popular QMJHL team, the Verdun Maple Leafs. He played 2 seasons with Verdun, playing 43 games in 71, and eventually moved on to the Laval National and the Drumville Rangers, where he played 49 games in the 72 season. Now, he eventually ended up undrafted, and of all things, he found himself playing in the WIHL and the WHL with the Trail Smoke Eaters and the Salt Lake Golden Eagles in 1974. Now, he was eventually found his way to the very popular Oklahoma City Blazers of the CHL in 75, where he won 22 games and 44 starts with a 3.1 average. Now, this is where it gets bizarre, ladies and gentlemen. He played 4 games that year as a call-up for the Maple Leafs with a 1-2 record with a 5.55 average. He eventually was mired in the minors of the CHL for the next few seasons. In 76 and 77, he was with Oklahoma City. 78 with the Dallas Blackhawks before getting a big break, and this is where it changes. He became kind of the not say number 1, but the co-number 1 for the NB Hawks of the AHL in 79, back in the Toronto system. Played 1 game with Toronto that year, actually only played 1 minute of that season, again as an emergency call-up. In New Brunswick, he put up some dynamite numbers for the fans in Frankton, 18-2-5 record. Now here becomes the change in Hamel's career. He was taken in the expansion draft in 1980 by the Winnipeg Jets, and their first season was difficult, but he did not too bad as kind of the backup. 9-19-3 with a 4.02 average. But 81, this is where the danger came in. A terrible season for Hamel, 3-20-4 in 29 games with a 4.47 average. He was eventually sent down to the Tulsa Oilers of the CHL and stayed with Tulsa for most of the next season, but found himself back in New Brunswick, this time in 82, with the Frankton Hawks, where he went 5-15-3 in 29 starts with a decent 4.3 average. Now, 83, he played in the Jets affiliate in Sherbrooke for a couple of games, then found himself in Europe with Dusseldorf EG later on that season. Now, he came back to North America, 84 and 85, and this was the highlight of his career, ladies and gentlemen. With the Carolina Thunderbirds of the ACHL, over 74 games, he had 53 wins in 2 seasons, only 13 losses with 2 ties. Last season with Carolina, 28-3 with a 3.42 average and a strong playoff tally. Now, what's kind of bizarre, ladies and gentlemen, not the best record when you look at it, 13-41-7 in the NHL in 69 games with a 4.41 average. But he wasn't, like I said, he was sort of like a Bunny the Ruck style backup. He could play the angles quite strong, but the odds of him making the NHL were so long, not only because of the amount of players that played goal in the Toronto Maple Leafs system of the 1970s. He's the type of goalie that an expansion team could use to basically teach the young players coming up both in the nets, on defense, and on offense, because every place he played, like I said, it was hearing nothing but good things of this guy. And the fact is, Oklahoma City is a great place to play hockey, and he put up some, like I said, some decent numbers. But what was kind of bizarre, ladies and gentlemen, Carolina, the Thunderbirds, that was a precursor to the Carolina Hurricanes. So I think the fans in Carolina owe a lot to Pierre Emile for putting, not say the team on the map, but giving them consistent play. And he helped build a fan base in Carolina. So ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here with our Vintage NHL podcast, let us know. Give us a like, comment, and subscribe. And this podcast is a request, again, from our good friend in Woodstock, New Brunswick, Bo Sheaves. Bo has a great admiration and fascination with players that have skated with New Brunswick and Nova Scotia AHL teams. And our next one will cover another one of these great players, the very, very talented and respected Tony Currie. Stay tuned, and thanks for listening. Bye.